guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a super fun tutorial on something I really enjoy making. I got an order for this, so I figured what a perfect time to film this so I'm not wasting material just making the tutorial. So I make a ton of birth stats animals. Usually they are the birth stats elephants, and I can show you a picture right here. But today I am making something different, and it is a birth stats monkey. So I'm going to show you exactly how I make these birth stats monkeys and show you the whole process. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do with this monkey, since I accidentally deleted my template on my monkey, unicorn, and fox, I'm going to have to start from scratch. So I'm going to measure his belly, and I'm going to measure his feet, because I do some of the stats on the belly and on the feet. Okay, so I've got Ollie the monkey and my tape measure. So I'm using heat transfer vinyl for this project. So I don't want it to be directly under his chin. I like it to be about 1/2 inch to 1 inch under his chin right here. And then as you can see, it kind of changes right here. So I don't want it to go past about right here. So then it's all even. So this guy is going to be about 2.5, 3 if we push it. And then we don't want it to cover the entire stomach. We basically just want it to be right here. So that's going to be, again, about a 2 3/4 to 3 if we push it. I don't really want to push it very much on the stomach. Now the feet, they are super tiny, and the one I'm doing today has 3 names that are going right here, and then the big initial for the last name is going to go here. So the foot altogether is about 2.25 inch and about 3.25 in height. Because the name is so long and so big, and I don't want to use this area or this area, I need it to be a flat surface. So I can only do about 1 3/4 in width and about 1 3/4 in height. Same thing for this, but because this is only having 1 initial here, it's going to look a lot bigger than the 3 names that are going on here. Now for this, I'm going to be doing teal and purple. Luckily for this order, all of the stats here are the same color, all the stats here and here are the same color for the feet. Usually for my birth stats elephants, I have to mix the colors, which makes it a little bit more difficult, because then it makes it where if the cover sheet is touching a bit and it leaves like an impression of it when you press it down. I do not use a heat press, I use an iron. For my elephants, I actually use hair straightener on the ears, which works out perfectly for me. This is what I came up with before I opened up Mr. Ollie, and some of it is incorrect. This is actually the stats for Mr. Ollie, but I said about 3 inches for each when I was filming just a second ago, but to be on the safe side, I'm actually going to do about 2.7. I really like this format that I came up with, but sometimes that little line right there, it gets crooked. And this surface for Ollie's belly is not straight. So you're having to pull it on the sides, so sometimes it goes up on the sides or goes down. Now the biggest thing you have to remember when doing HTV, heat transfer vinyl, is we have to mirror it. All of this has to be mirrored. Something you should know about me is I am a scrap hoarder. I don't care how small it is. So I already have a perfect piece of the teal HTV that I'm going to be using for Ollie's belly. And so I'm going to make sure that the glossy side is put down. I was in a crunch when I needed this purple. And so I actually got this purple at Hobby Lobby I want to say this is actually the Paper Studio. I know a ton of people that drag Paper Studio. Excuse me. Anyway, a lot of people drag Paper Studio and Cricut vinyl. I really haven't had an issue with them, especially when I'm in a time crunch, which most of the time I am. Some people wait until the last second to order. With the Paper Studio vinyl though, it is way thicker than normal HTV, and so I have to cut it like 4 times, so pass this 4 times, which, because it's not many things that we're cutting out, it still doesn't take a very long time. I'll show you the difference of cutting 651 heat transfer vinyl, not 651 regular vinyl, that's just the name of the place that I got it from, and Paper Studio, because it is a lot different. Okay, so it just finished cutting out the tummy portion, and so I was just going to show you the difference between cutting name brand HTV versus the Paper Studio. Okay. Move my trash can, I guess. Another thing about weeding is you really, really, really have to make sure that you get all the insides out, because that would be close to impossible getting out and redoing, because when you put either BLR or acetone, it just absorbs under the stuffed animal, and so things you didn't want to come up will come up, and so then you have a lot more stuff to redo. So you can see that all of the little pieces are cut out. So now we're going to cut the Paper Studio. For the Paper Studio, like I said, it's thicker. It does not stick well to the mat. So for Paper Studio, I always have to tape it down. And this is the thing that you want to see facing up. This is what's going to go down on the mat. So I'm going to get... Alright, I am finally cutting the Paper Studio version. So everything's the same, but now I'm going to up the force to a 6 and passes to a 4. Okay, so the Paper Studio just got finished cutting. I always save my tape. Okay, so it actually cut out pretty well. I can see it, and that's a bad sign if you can't see it. Once you cut it out, alright, so like I said, this one is going to be much different than cutting out the brand name vinyl. Okay, I lied. It did good. If you don't cut it out multiple times, then that's when it's going to give you an issue. But this name is super small. Full of the insides. It's not focusing. Insides that we're gonna have to get out. Luckily, this name doesn't have a ton. Are out, and they are. So the next step is the most stressful step, and that is putting this stuff on the animal permanently. So here we go. Okay, so I just realized that I've been talking to the camera and it did not film. So that kind of sucks. So what I did when it didn't film was I did the belly portion, and I am now doing the feet. I really hate that that didn't film, and I don't have another order to do right now. What I learned just now is that this one was actually a cold peel. I tried lifting it right after I heated it, and the vinyl was coming up. And so what I've learned with some of the off-brand vinyls is that they are cold peel and not hot peel, which means you need to let it cool down before you try to take the cover sheet off. So there's that one. And then last I'm going to do the name. And so what I was saying when my camera wasn't filming is that the Paper Studio vinyl is not sticky. So when I put this on, it kind of stayed on its own, and I didn't have to worry so much about it moving. This falls right off, so you can't, you know, just leave it on there and then put this on there. So what I did for this one is I put the vinyl on there, I immediately put the cover on, and I ironed it on. For this one, what I have to do is first rewind. The biggest issue about these sitting down is that when we're putting our vinyl on, we usually do it when they're laying. But laying versus sitting, which is how he will be presented, is totally different. So this looks almost exactly in the middle. If I were doing it just looking at it laying down, it looks like it's up too far and there's a lot more space on the bottom. But when he's sitting, it looks like it's proportionate. And so backtrack for this. What I do for vinyl that doesn't stick is I do a quick little practice run, I guess you could say, and just heat it real quick, just so to the point it stays for a second, and then use my cover. So I'll just show you what I mean. I'm putting it directly on just for a second so it'll stick, and then come at it with the cover and full force. I barely put any force on it when I just did the test run. Alright, and this is a cold peel, so we're going to wait a little bit. Like I like to just touch it with something not hot. And we should be good to go. Always do it slow. Alright, so it's on there. Now I'm going to hit it again so it's on there permanently. Alright. Quite that hot. So that is what the monkey looks like. I will show it in better lighting. And to go over what I did when I wasn't filming was what I tried to do for this when it's one color. So she was awesome and she just asked for one color. What people do sometimes is they'll get this part this part in the line, let's just say teal, and then the 6 and those two numbers would be the color purple. And so when that happens, obviously you don't do all this one color and then all of it again on the other color and put it on top. You'd have to take away those parts. You'd have open sections. I always do the big sections first. Those are my big sections, and then I come in with the ones that have the least amount of work. But sometimes the cover sheet will get right in the middle of something and it leaves an impression on the vinyl, and sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't come out, which obviously sucks because, you know, when I like to send my stuff off, I don't want it to have any issues. I want it to be exactly what they ordered. Here is the finished product of our monkey. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this video helps you on your next project.